G'day avocado enthusiasts, welcome to this video. A little while ago, I accidentally left an avocado seed germinating in a jar for a really long time, and it left a really cool bend in the tree, which has since fused in position. And instead of pruning it right back to the base, I thought I'd make the most of the funky shaping and do an avocado bonsai. And it's doing really well. A couple of months ago, I potted it into this pot, and in that time, it's grown one of its stems quite well, and predictably, it's going straight up. There it is, which is exactly how we would expect a tree to grow. The cells in plants can actually sense Earth's gravitational pull. They know which way is down and which way is up, and they want to usually grow up. That's geotropic movement, especially with trees. And I don't want it necessarily to do that. It's just gonna have a weird little loop and then it's gonna continue growing straight. I wanna have more of a wraparound. So for this tree, I need to have a bit of a think about how I want to design it, because bonsais are designed, and then I need to do some shape. So for this tree, it's got kind of two trunks, I suppose. It's split off, and one is going in a clockwise direction, one's going in an anti-clockwise direction from the top down. And I really want to continue that shaping. So I want this branch to continue in an anti-clockwise direction, and I want the other one eventually, when it continues growing, which it is, to go in a clockwise direction. So that's kind of what I want to end up with. So this is the design that I'm going for, and this is what I've got at the moment. So with that planning in mind, it's time to start shaping. So today I'm going to be showing you how to wire a bonsai avocado tree, but you can also just apply this to other bonsais. Let's get to it. There's only a few things that I'm going to need today. So of course, I'm going to need my tree. I've got that here. I'm gonna need some wire cutters, and I'm going to need some bonsai wire. This is specially sold specifically for bonsais. It comes in a pretty long roll, and this is the 1 millimeter thick stuff. You can get varying degrees of thickness depending on how strong the tree is that you're trying to bend. Because these thicker ones are pretty well fused, now I could try and rebend them if I had thicker wire. I want to keep them there. This one is pretty flexible. It hasn't fused yet, so I'm going to use the wire to do that. For the wire, I'm going to cut it into a fairly short length because I don't want to be handling the entire reel. That's going to be unmanageable. So I'm going to cut it at about where I think I'll need it, or a little bit longer. I'm just going to cut like that much. And that is what I'm going to be using to deal with today. Now, the next thing I need to do is to put it in at the base of the tree. I can't just use it to wire the single branch that I need. I need to actually do it from the base so that it has something strong to hold on to. So I'm going to come in and put it in at an angle into the pot. And I realize I'm wearing a dark shirt, the pot's dark, the wire's dark, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to just push at the base of the tree, I'll go closest to me, into the pot at an angle, and it should hit the side of the pot at some point. There it is. And that's what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to start wrapping it around the trunk. I don't want to go too tightly. In trees, there are two places that they grow from, or two main places. There might be multiple of these places, but there are two places. There are the primary meristems. The primary meristem is at the tip of a branch or a trunk. That's where it gets longer. And then there are the secondary meristems, which occur the whole length of the plant along the stems, and that's what makes them wider. And they're going to keep going wider, so I don't want to put the wire around it too tightly, because if I do that, I risk damaging the trunk. If I leave it on there too long and it's too tight, then it will grow, the wire won't move, and it'll dig into the tree, which I really don't want. So I only need to go lightly, I don't need to pull it tightly. So I'm going to start wrapping it around kind of in a bit of a helix shape or a spiral shape. I know spirals get bigger at one end, kind of at 45-degree angles. And I'm thinking about the direction that my tree is going. So because I want it to do some winding, I want to kind of enhance that. So I'm going to wind the wire around in the same direction. So this particular branch, I wanted to keep going in an anti-clockwise direction. So I'm actually going to wind the wire in an anti-clockwise direction as well, because that should accentuate. I'm working with the branch and I'm not trying to fight it. It'll kind of tighten a little bit as we go. So I'm going to do that. So there we go. Okay, now finally I'm up to the bit that hasn't done any fusing. So this is where I'm going to start needing to use my hand to move it along and use the wire to hold it in that position. I don't just want it to go sideways. I want it to do some wrapping around like that. So I'm just going to slowly wrap and pull. And you can see, like, just by putting the wire on it like that, I've gone around once, it's already holding it into position. So you can be pretty gentle with this. It doesn't need to be, you know, like pulling and tugging. It's pretty gentle. I'm going to continue now. Okay, and there we go. We keep wiring and adjusting. Really, yeah, bring it back around a bit more. And that there is pretty good. I probably should trim this end wire off. I'm actually not going to just yet. I know it's a bit ugly at the moment, but I anticipate that this branch will continue to grow and I don't want it to stop growing just yet. I'd like it to keep going a little bit further until then at some point I will probably twist the ends off and hopefully it'll start branching out a few other spots. But that is not something that I'm going to do right now. Once the shoot or shoots, actually, there's two that are actively growing, on the other branch start growing a bit more, I'm going to repeat this process for that side, but that's not going to be for another couple of months, I would imagine. So I'm going to leave this branch as it is. I'm going to wait for the wood to fuse together, which I anticipate will take a couple of months, and then we'll see what we have. I could end the video here and just make it a how to apply it, but I really want to show you what this looks like in a few months' time. So I'm not going to end the video now. Instead, I'm going to end this video in a moment. It'll be very, very short for you, but for me, it's going to be a few months away. So I'm going to wait and I'll see you in a moment. It's been quite a few months now, actually, and I rather foolishly at one point tried to adjust the how much it was bending and I snapped off the end. So it's responded by putting out another primary meristem, which is great, but it means that I've now got this little dead part of stem, which I do want to get rid of. So I'm going to get rid of that today, but I'm also going to do some more shaping. I've got this kind of second stem really going hard now. It started bending around and then died, and then there's this one which has come out in its place. So it's still quite healthy, even though there's been some die off. I'm not too concerned about the die off though. So today, we're going to do some more shaping. You'll see it's a little floppy as well. It's due for a water, so I'll do that after I do some shaping and we should be okay. So I'm going to start by taking off the dead part. I'm going to use my regular secateurs. This is probably overkill, honestly, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to just take the wire out of the way and making sure I'm only getting the dead stuff. I don't want to chop into the node at all. I'm going to just come in and take it out like that. Now the rest of it will shrivel off and die at some point, but I'm happy enough with that at the moment. And I want this new stem to keep going in a that way direction. So what I'm going to do is to take the wire that's already there, and I'm going to just ever so slightly bend it towards the direction I want it to go. I don't want to make the same mistake I did earlier where I overbend it so that it snaps, because we don't want that, but that should help it to continue to go in the direction I want it to go. While I'm here, I can probably adjust some of the other bend in this stem, just enough so that it is pointing in the direction I want it to go. I am pretty happy with that now. So that's going to continue to go that way. And now I need to deal with this one here. I wasn't quite expecting this branch to stem up because it did have a stem which was growing in this direction, and I was going to have kind of a double helix looking thing, a bit like, you know, DNA. But I think I can probably still do that. because it's got a nice bend. I reckon I can train it to go that way. Once again, I'm going to get rid of the dead part of the trunk. We don't need that anymore. And I'm going to add a second wire to this. So to do that, I will get my bonsai wire and I'll do a very similar thing to what I did on the first stem. So in the first stem, I stuck a bit into the soil and then I wound it around in an anti-clockwise direction until I got to where it was going. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to try not to add any more strain to the trunk. I'm going to put it going pretty well in the same direction, of kind of following the original wire until it branches off. So I'll stick that right down there so that it's really in the soil, and then I'll wind it around so that it matches the pattern that's already there. I might not have done enough wire here, but that's not a big deal. So what I need to do now, I want it to go in a this way direction. So I know that's not super helpful language, but I want it to go this way. So what I need to do is just wind it around to keep it facing down. And this is a very new stem, so it's quite malleable. Twist it a bit more that way as well. You know what, going forward, I may not have it go right around. I might have them going this way a bit, and hopefully they'll bush out a bit more there. There are plenty of nodes along there which we could activate by using some pruning, but we'll just see how that goes into the future. I will give it another few months. We'll do another update. We'll see if we're ready to finish the video there. Obviously, you know, we're not going to have a finished bonsai. This is going to be an ongoing project over the next few years or beyond, but I'm happy to leave it there. So I'll pop it back on the shelf. I'll give it a water first because it's quite droopy, and then we'll see how it's looking in a few months' time. It's been about 4 months since we last did some shaping of this avocado tree, and I think it's time to remove some wire. Before we do that though, unfortunately, the initial branch that we had has died. I'm gonna prune it back to where it's not dead and see if we can get it to keep going, but it has died. This happens sometimes, so we'll deal with that in a moment, but we can definitely see that this avocado is growing in this direction, which is great. It's going to try and keep twisting up, but I don't really want it to get too much bigger. So when it starts getting some more growth, I'll probably twist so that it starts pushing out some other growth in different places. But right now, I'm really happy with this shape. It's time to see if it's locked in and if we can get it to keep this shape. So first, I will get rid of the new one. So this was the wire we added only a few months ago, and it has locked in beautifully there. Oh, check that out. So there's actually no wire on this branch anymore at all. It's all up here, and it's set. So that's totally supporting itself there beautifully. I'm really happy with that. It's done the job. So now I'll just remove the rest of it. This wire is reusable, so I'm gonna just set it aside and use it another time for another tree. And now we'll get rid of the wire around the dead branch. I'm a bit disappointed that it's died, but it does happen sometimes. Especially when a small tree like this has another option, like the primary meristem of this one disappeared, so it's got to put more effort into the new one, which was doing really well, and then it just, you know, didn't do anything with the other one. Did I let it get a bit dry? Would that have helped it to stay alive for longer? Maybe, but you know, we've still got this other beautiful branch, so I'm not too concerned. All right, so right now, this tree has got 0 supports. It's locked in this way. I mean, if I wanted to adjust it, I could wire it a different way, but it's grown in this way now, and it's going to continue to become locked in place, especially as it begins to lignify, which there's been some lignification around here. If you would like some clarification of what lignification is, there is a link in the description where I talk about it extensively, but it's basically when the green turns to brown woody stuff. I could probably prune it right back to where this branch leaves the original stem, but I'm gonna see if we can get anything to come out of this node. I don't know if we're going to, but we'll give it a go. Might also lop off this dying leaf because I want this to be a beautiful ornamental plant, and we can do that. Started browning because I let it get dry at some point, which, you know, that happens. And now, check out this cute little bonsai that we have made. The thing about avocados, which means that they're not awesome for bonsais, if I'm honest, is the size of the leaves. So most of the time when you're going for bonsai, you know, miniature trees, you want trees that have very small leaves naturally. Just because we've got a small tree here doesn't mean that we've got small leaves. So we're still gonna get regular avocado sized leaves, and they can get quite large. So it does look a bit goofy, but I think it's a really cute little tree that we have shaped using wire. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it, that you've learned something, that you're inspired to try this yourself. I think as well, the great thing about avocados is that we often grow them from seed, and you can cultivate this tree, shape it in your own way, right from the start. And what a great way to start dipping your toes into the world of bonsai. So if you give this a go, I would love to see your photos. I'm on Instagram at Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. Please feel free to tag me. I'd love to see what you get up to with your avocado bonsais. And I'd like to thank you for watching this video, but I would also like to extend a very special thank you to my Patreon members. Thank you very much to all of my fantastic Patreon members who are on the screen now. I'm just so grateful for the additional support that you provide me. Now, if you would like to become a Patreon member, you will get access to the monthly exclusive Scott Grows a Kiwi Vine videos, where I'm following along some kiwi vines to grow them into plants. And you'll also get a chance to be the sponsor of the week for the weekly year-long time lapse, where I'm publishing time lapses each week for the whole year of some avocado trees growing in short form content on here and on Instagram. Prices start from just $3 a month, so I'd love it if you go and check that out. Thank you once again for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time. That's a great tree. Look at this. Look at this thing. Isn't that sweet?